when you're on camera, this is what you see is what you get. Animation in games, you can be, I played a Viking beaver in a Nickelodeon show, you know,
I played a little grandma, very handy.
just like, I played a grandma.
Was that Breadwinners?
No, that was Billy and Mandy.
No, the first one I think was Breadwinners.
Breadwinners, yeah. Breadwinners was the Viking beavers. It's also the place I won't audition for anymore. Because it's, they had me singing like gore, like this heavy metal thing. That wasn't in the audition. It's like, yeah, I can't do that for very long.
So mentioning voice acting versus, you know, on-camera acting, voice acting is a decidedly different medium as far as the technique that you're using. Like you mentioned, you know, you can do different types of characters that you would not be able to do on camera. What's a common misconception that people have about voice acting that you'd like to clear up?
Well, I don't need to clear up anything. I mean, but it's not easy. It's not, I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's not as easy as people think. It's because, you know, sometimes on camera, first of all, you're working with somebody. You're talking to another person. We're having a scene together. And what you bring, what you send my way, I have to react and send back. And there's this great collaboration. That's why Uncharted was so great, because that was motion capture. It's on camera. And I tell people the data that we got on the stage, the same stage where they did Polar Express or Avatar or any of that stuff, that data could be made into a movie or it could be made into a game. It's that simple. Andy Serkis told me, he said, the best thing is it's acting like any other, except we wear digital makeup. I thought that was great. The toughest part, I think, is when you're reading text, you have to perform while you're reading it. And I don't think it's necessarily difficult to learn, but you can tell when someone's reading something to you and when someone's performing what they're reading. And I think I believe you can learn it. I mean, obviously I did. I mean, yeah, you can do it. It's just, and sometimes when we're going through dialogue, you'll hear that director be like, someone will reading on that one. You're like, yeah, let me read. And sometimes I'll read it through, and I think because of the soap opera, actually, I'm able to pick that up, and I'll very often, I'll just like look off the page and when I'm doing it, just because I got it in me, because I know that I'm not just reading the words. But I don't have like chip on my shoulder, like, oh, you don't need this conception. But no, it's you know, we get to play make believe, and I'm blessed to be able to do it. I had no idea this is what I would do with my life, so, but it can't go back now. I am truly just not, I'm not good at anything else. And it's a good job for someone who's like, oh, you always want to get better. So that's where you go. But I would be terrible at, like Merrill Lynch. Well, that's these numbers. It'd be awful.
Is there a character that you have yet to voice that you really want to voice?
And somebody's yet to write it. You know, I think there's so many good writers and so many good projects. And yeah, obviously it's just amazing characters that you're like, wow, this is cool. I've done a number of them. You know, I don't have like people say, what's your superhero what you want to do? I'm like, I don't know, you know. I don't know, it'd have to be something away from Nathan Drake. He became such an iconic hero that a lot of times I'm drawn to like some of the villains and the more interesting characters that come in.
Those are the more fun characters to play.
Yeah.
I hear.
Yeah, they are.
All right, we're going to throw into our first question. Here we go.
You guys
Hey Nolan, name is Jake. One of the roles I also really enjoy you doing currently is Rocket Raccoon in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
Hoping we get Deadpool in that game. My question is, do you think we'll get that game on Switch too? Because I'm hoping it comes to Switch too.
I have no idea.
But
I have no
otherwise-
idea, it'd be nice if they did, but, and if Robert was gonna be there, I'd be there. Just remember, I ain't no flocking raccoon. Which also sounds like Mike McDonald. That's a little deep. Yeah, I don't know if it's coming to Switch. I have no idea. They don't tell me that. That's above my pay grade.
Awesome.
Thank you for your question. One question, please. Thank you. All right, next question. What's your name?
I'll try to draw it out. Another question.
All right. Hi,
Hi.
I'm Raven. My question was, if I can work, if you were to, which fictional character would you want to voice in a musical remake at all?
In a what?
Musical remake?
Oh, a musical remake. Oh. Interesting. Like from a musical film or something like that?
Anything you can think of.
Wow. Wow, that's a great question. I grew up, so my parents met doing musical theater, summer stock in New England. My dad was in New York, trying his hand at it. He was, that's a great question. So I grew up in a house where they sing all the time. And you know, we watched the old movies, The Music Man and Oliver, and it just, oh gosh. I think Fagin, that'd be cool. Fagin and Oliver. Okay, so when I lived in New York, we had a buddy who was an usher. He used to sneak us in the back, and I saw Guys and Dolls like 7 times with Nathan Lane, Faith Prince, Peter Gallagher. It was unbelievable. I mean, yeah, it was just amazing. And that old school kind of thing. They need Guys and Dolls. I remember, I don't know what, that could be a cool game. They could go to Havana at one point. That could be, we could do a musical remake of Guys and Dolls, but, you know, shoot people.
Thank you for your question.
That's a great question. Thank you for that one.
All right, what's your name?
There's so many.
My name is Noah.
Hey, Noah.
I was wondering, what is your favorite line when you played Deadpool in the games? And
There's so many. My favorite line. I don't think I can say it, Noah.
can you?
Your mouth.
Well, I did, so, you know, it's a naughty game. So, what was great about that is I got to do Deadpool the way I wanted to do it, just doing his thing. I also got to be his very serious self. Yeah, it's really immature self. On his angels. And we would go back and forth, back and forth. But if you remember, the premise of the Deadpool video game is Deadpool, breaking the fourth wall all the time, is making his own video game. And we were doing they had a bunch of phone calls to the head of the studio. They used his real name about, you know, and at one point I was sitting there and said, what if he called me? And they looked at me and they said, what do you mean? I said, well, what if he called me to ask me to be in the game? And because I was brushing him off, they're like, well, what? I said, you know what, just roll this. And I did a phone call between Deadpool and myself. He wanted me in the game, and you're the guy, you're doing all the games, you know. I said, yeah, you know, I don't know if I can do it, you know. Back and forth, it's like, I really need to call my agent, can't. He said, I bet I called you because you're my buddy, you know, we go way back. I'm like, I've never met you. And the whole thing ends up where, and I just keep brushing him off. He said, come on, don't be like that, you gotta do it. And I said, you know, you really gotta call my agent, Deadpool. This is really gonna, and that little girl, she laughed. Did she? She's not.
I think we're seeing.
So I just ended it. I said, you gotta calm down, so forgive me. I go, you gotta talk to my agent. He goes, yeah, well, fuck you, Nolan. And you saw all the heads in the engineering group like, and they're laughing, and they go, oh my God, can we use that? I'm like, You better. And I can't tell you how many people come up to me with the Deadpool game and go, could you run a rate to F you know on there? I suppose you don't want F you, right? Just, no. So I told him, I got to tell myself off. But, and that's tame that I gave.
Thank you for your question. What's your name?
Hello, Mr. North.
Hey.
You're gonna get closer. No, get closer.
My name is Patrick, and regarding the Uncharted series,
Yes.
was there anything that you wanted to include that was never included in the final versions of the game? Or any of the games?
You know, it's a great question, but no, I don't, the great thing about that game is, you know, I get to come to these and sign their stuff, it's Nathan Drake and all that thing, but it was such a group effort, and without Amy Hennig, that doesn't exist. Without Richard, without Emily, without Graham McTavish playing Lazarevich and then Cutter, without all these amazing artists and programmers, it was this big collective effort that made that so special. It made it to the point where when you're playing Uncharted, you're Nathan Drake, not me. It's you, you're on the stick, you're making a move, you're making the decisions, you're playing the game, and you're in it. And to be able to have been part of something so much bigger than just myself, that is, I mean, how old am I now? We've been doing, this game came out a long time ago, and here we are. I joke with people, I may have told some of you today at the table that I've gotten to travel the world more than Nathan Drake because of Nathan Drake. Whether it was the Sony publicity tours that we did for the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, where they literally had me go to London, land in London, wake up in the morning, press junket all day, go to the airport, fly to Oslo, go to sleep, press junket all the next day, get on a plane that night, fly into Germany, go into Berlin, do it again, Amsterdam, back to London, this is true, slept, no, I got on a plane, got home on a Thursday, slept, Friday morning, worked on Uncharted 4, finished all-day mocap, car picks me up, my wife's in it this time, go back to London to finish up the tour, like 1 day in London, 2 in Paris, Portugal, and Madrid. And I had no idea where I was, but it was amazing just to be able to have that. I was in Comic Cons in Stockholm last year, Stockholm and then Finland, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar. I'll be in New Zealand later this year. Yeah, that's crazy. Ready for this? Back-to-back weekends. Brussels to New Zealand, then back-to-back weekends in Australia before I go home. And it's like, and this is a kid who grew up in Rhode Island with very, very little. The only trip we ever took, we had to drive to Iowa because my uncle passed away. Because we couldn't go anywhere. And I was like, someday I really want to travel, I want to see the world, and now I'm doing it. I'm like, God, I wish I was doing this when I was younger. but it's amazing, and it's thanks to you guys, it's thanks to the fans, and to see that, you know, to show up in Germany and realize, PlayStation, you can say, actually more Uncharted games were sold in Germany per capita than anywhere in the world. It's just, Australia, I mean, it's just unbelievable that people turn out. I could never have dreamed this big for my life, and it's thanks to you guys, and you know, and Amy, and Naughty Dog at that point. But it's been pretty unbelievable. But it's been a whole collaborative thing that makes it special. It's, you know, it's not just one guy. But I get my face is on the box, so I sign it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your question. Tell us your name.
Hello, my name is Mark. Nice to see you again, Nathan. Alright, this is not technically my question, but more my friend's. He's a bit social anxiety and all that, so normally he can't come up here.
Okay.
But something I have noticed is that back when you were first playing Erasmus in Team Fortress 2,
Yeah.
he was a lot more calm and reserved. you know, occasionally going, the wheel of fate, and stuff like that, but like, then like a few updates later, he's a lot more, what's the proper word?
Crazy.
Yeah, I guess I'd say crazy, but
Crazy.
bombastic, I guess would be the proper word.
That's actually a very good word.
Yeah. He wanted to know, what was it like in the recording booth? Like for like the original and like how we got to the more crazy marasmus. And I apologize for you putting "and," even though
Yeah,
that's against the
no.
rule. But
No,
you know.
I know, you're right. No, so Team Fortress 2, I did, is a company, Valve does it, and I did a bunch of characters for Dota 2 and for Portal 2, exactly. And they came to me, I think it was a Halloween update.
Yes.
Which was very cool because that's my birthday. I was like, Halloween is gonna be cool. I thought they didn't know that. Anyway, what was, he did start out it was gonna be a little spookier, eerier, but we started doing, I was doing kind of a Vincent Price type character, and he grew crazy, and it's all in the writing. And the first writing, he was kind of tame, but he did certain things. And then the writers are hysterical. And then, you'd be reading these things, and you should not, fear the marasmus, and then all of a sudden, send Marasmus money, I owe it to the Chinese mafia. And I'm like, what? And the writing just got so, and they were like, no, just go for it, whatever you want. And so, yes, and the Russians, they know where Marasmus is. So I thought that was hysterical, but here he is, this, working in the nether regions of the world, and also I have gambling debts. So it was all in the writing that they just made him a little bit crazier. And in Call of Duty with Dr. Richtofen, it started out zany, and then as it became bigger and bigger, he kind of came back to something much more serious. And, it happens, especially with characters that kind of last that long. It's nice to be able to let them sort of bounce around in their psyche.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you for your question. Tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Ewan. I wanted to ask, is there like a big difference between voice acting for animation and video games, or is it like roughly the same?
It can be. A lot of times animation, especially through the pandemic, we would record as a cast. And with games, very often you're alone. Destiny, for example, it's, just me, my coffee, and Isaac Guardian, and we're doing it. And you just, and what they'll do is they'll show the script with the line previous, the directors and everybody is very good about giving you context, which is incredibly important when you're alone doing things. So they'll talk about what this level is about, what's going on with you and the player, and then you'll see the lines ahead of time. You're usually alone. With animation now, like I did Rick and Morty the other day, and they just call in and there's these 3 characters, and I'm just reading the page. So I always will read ahead, read the whole scene, know what's going on, and then the director may just read the lines in between yours. So you just read the scene, then you go back and pick it up. So there's not. That's what I was saying about the great thing about the on-camera stuff is just, it was very refreshing to go back onto a set, put on clothing. And the funny thing is, that Hysteria show was set back in the Satanic Panic in 1989. And I was sitting there putting get your wardrobe all set, and I remember laughing one day about it, and I realized my father was my age in 1989. And I was wearing his clothes. I was like, my dad had these shoes. these jeans. I mean, he had this. He had this. This is a. What was that jacket?
Members only.
Yeah, I had a members only jacket. I'm like, oh my God, my dad had one of these. It was just so. So that's the big difference. Animation. Typically, you'll have a cast. They tried to do some of them over Zoom, but one person's connection drops out, and they're like, okay, and it's much more time efficient to just record by yourself, which is sad. I miss the cast records. one of the great things about coming to the conventions like this is I see very, very good friends that I don't get to see anymore. Kari Walgren's here. You know Kari Walgren? Absolute genius. And she did some of her earliest stuff with me. So we've been friends forever. Greg Delisle. I remember meeting Greg Delisle when my kids were young enough. She sent them a phone message from Emily Elizabeth, you know, because they watched Clifford.
He's here too.
Who is?
Right.
Yeah, well, I know. Sorry, the green room. And you meet other people that you never known before, you know. So, which is like last week. Was it last week? I don't remember when. Juliette Lewis was there, and then she said, "Are you taking the car to the airport last night? Can I ride?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm riding Juliette Lewis. She's really nice.
And then we're treating.
Yeah, it's just funny. Just you meet people and that. Some of my biggest heroes, Frank Welker, Peter Cullen. I got to do Transformers with them. And every Wednesday on Transformers Prime, I'm in this room next to these legends that were my heroes. And then Welker's a golfer, and he's like, "You should join my club." I played with him. I'm pretty good. And invited me to join his club, and I did, and we were partners.
We have time for one more question, yeah?
Yes.
So sorry, guys, one more question.
That's fine, thanks. Hi, my name is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
You do a very good James Mason, too.
I do like James Mason. Of course, people don't remember.
Oh,
But if you see him, if you ever, you youngsters should go see Vertigo. One of my favorites. Yes, Vertigo.
or the Stephen King one, Salem's Lot.
Oh yeah, very good.
Yeah.
James Mason. My youngest son, not my youngest, a 25-year-old loves old movies. And he just, no, I mean, he just loves, yeah, well, you know, they are, I am too, trust me, but the classic movies, that's the better word. And he said, everybody knows Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life, but go watch Vertigo, go watch Rear Window again. And he's yeah, I mean, he's amazing, and he's way ahead of his time. I mean, he played himself, and everybody's, he was, Cary Grant. I mean, some of these great actors that they did. So yes.
My question
What's your
is,
question?
totally unrelated to any of this. Has anybody ever confused you with Norm Macdonald?
Yeah, I heard that. Somebody said that, and we, hey, shit, I heard that, I got to play golf with Norm. For real.
Excellent.
And this is exactly how he talked there, He go all over the way, I can stand it. We did, I really did. I got to play with him one time. And yes, and there's, yes, I have done that, especially when you get the hat, you get the eyes going.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Are you a lady of the night? No, but it was funny, we played, and I had a really shot in the air, and he walked up, and I'm just going up there, he goes, "That's a great shot there." I'm like, "Thank you. You got that for birdie?" I'm like, and he's staring, I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, if you make that, it's a birdie." Yeah, this is just, like a car, but I missed the putt. He goes, "That's a damn shame." And I look at him, he's a sweetheart, genius comedian. But thank you. I was actually just with Nick Swartzen last week, and he was very, very close with Nolan. We were swapping stories, because he has a lot more than I do. But that's good to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to ask one last.
Yeah, sure.
Can you do us all a favor and please give us a one-sentence pep talk as, wait for it, Nathan Drake A ridiculous pickup line as Deadpool and terrifying as David, back to back.
Don't forget Superboy.
A pickup line? Or did you
Or
say,
whatever.
or a picnic?
Back to back.
Oh, so, okay, so Nathan Drago, Sick Farmers Magnum, be true to yourself, greatest from small beginnings. When you get knocked down in life, pick yourself up and keep going. That's what I did. Yeah. Deadpool would say, "Excuse me, miss, does this napkin smell like chloroform?" It works every time. And what do you want from David?
And something terrifying is the terrifying pep talk as David.
I think we need to shut this one down because I'm getting awfully hungry. And you all look so tasty.
Thank you so much for the welcome. Thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your talent with all of us. Please give it